Good afternoon, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the Just Chatting Gaming News and trailers for the week of, July 15th. Got a handful of trailers and news stories for you today. We're going to talk about the FTC versus Microsoft, another court case with Bungie. We've got trailers for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. We got a release date and trailer for The Banishers, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, on gaming news and trailers, I have not talked about this yet. I've been kind of waiting for the results, and then we could kind of get into it a little bit. But if you don't know, Microsoft has been trying to buy Activision Blizzard, and they've been getting a lot of resistance. And so here in the US, it went to court with the FTC and PlayStation, and the results are in, and Microsoft has won the FTC fight to buy Activision Blizzard. Funny enough, most of this was centered around one game, one video game, and that is Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty is massive on every system, but PlayStation in particular. Now, what's really interesting, if you go back through the history of what's been going on, Xbox has offered Jim Ryan and PlayStation deals, saying stuff here in the last few weeks like, no, we will not take Call of Duty off of PlayStation. If we put it on Game Pass, you can put it on your version of Game Pass. And Jim Ryan was just like, nope, don't want it. I just don't want you to buy Activision Blizzard. And so that's, one of the reasons why this court thing happened, in addition to many other reasons. I will say that if this is interesting to you, go and look through there's a lot of stories online that have a ton of documentation. And through this entire process, a lot of classified stuff got leaked, and a lot of it is very interesting. Well, not leaked, but the classified stuff had to be brought out because of the hearing. So leaked was a incorrect word. But stuff like, Starfield and Indiana Jones were supposed to be on PlayStation, and how much money they projected to make or sell on those systems. Stuff like, Microsoft complaining that they're not able to put games on PlayStation properly because PlayStation won't give them dev kits. You've got info out there about when the next Xbox and PlayStation will come out, and just a ton of like really interesting stuff, really interesting quotes that came out of this court battle. So it's really cool stuff. But yeah, now that Microsoft has won this thing, the question is what is going to happen now? And so one of the updates that came out this morning, and again, I mentioned that Xbox was trying to get PlayStation to agree to a deal. They refused, and then as of this morning, they did agree to a deal. So Phil Spencer, 4 hours ago, we are pleased to announce that Microsoft and PlayStation have signed a binding agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation following the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. We look forward to a future where players globally have more choices to play their favorite games. But I think a lot of the big questions when it comes to this is, like, what from Activision Blizzard is going to come to Game Pass? And I want to sort of throw out my own thoughts, feelings, and theories based on everything that I've seen. So, will the brand new Call of Duties come to Game Pass? I think they will have all the old ones on there. Probably like last year's backwards will all come to Game Pass. But this brand new one that's coming out, let's say this year, I don't think so. Now, at some point down the road, will they start doing that? I think they will, but not at the moment. You also have other things, like, let's say, World of Warcraft. Will they put World of Warcraft on Game Pass? I think World of Warcraft will come to the Xbox console, but I don't think it's going to be on Game Pass because that game by itself is making millions and millions and millions of dollars every single year. If they put it on Game Pass, they're removing that revenue stream, which would be a terrible idea. Now, on the other side, what does Activision Blizzard have that would be good for Game Pass that's not making them a lot of money? Something like StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm. I can see games like that coming to Game Pass like very, very soon. And it could also push a resurgence to those games, Heroes of the Storm in particular. But yeah, I mean, Sony has been, over the past many, many years, Sony's been the king of exclusives. Their first-party lineup is the best in the business. And now with Activision Blizzard, with Bethesda and all the other studios that they have bought over the past 2 years, Microsoft is getting to unload over the next couple of years, and they are going to probably beat PlayStation in this generation, which is going to be really interesting. But I almost, like, as crazy as this deal is, and again, it's all about Call of Duty for PlayStation, I almost think the Bethesda deal was more harmful when it comes to games and exclusives. The fact that, again, Starfield will not be on PlayStation. The new Indiana Jones will not be on PlayStation. The next Fallout will not be on PlayStation. The next Elder Scrolls will not be on PlayStation. To me, that's way bigger than Call of Duty. So, yeah, very, very interesting stuff. But yeah, the rumor is that Microsoft should take over at some point this week. We'll also see how quickly they get rid of Bobby Kotick, because nobody likes him. He's the CEO of Activision Blizzard. So, yeah, really, really interesting stuff, and we'll see what happens with that and the gaming industry over the next couple years. So going from one court case to another, this is also very, very interesting. So Bungie has won a $400K lawsuit against a Destiny 2 player who was threatening and harassing the Bungie's community manager, setting a new precedent about harassments in the industry. So it's pretty well known that there's a lot of weird people out there. And a developer will say something, they'll release something that a player doesn't like, and then now they're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, just like harassing the developers. And now we have a lawsuit against a community member from Destiny, who now has to pay $400,000 to Bungie. And I don't know if he also has jail time or community service or whatever, because of the harassment. So now that this is like set in stone, anytime another dev gets harassed, they can take that person to court and say, well, you see what happened over here? So these people need to stop. Otherwise, they're going to owe these companies a lot of money. Yeah, you just can't internet bully people. So, kind of interesting. Going back to Xbox for our next story. Major Nelson, who's been part of the Xbox family for 20 years, has decided to take a step back and work on the next chapter of his career. Essentially retiring, so to speak. So yeah, he's been a face and a stage presence for Xbox for a long, long time. So it's gonna be sad to see him go. I wonder who's gonna fill his role. But yeah, kind of sad. Then our final news story of the day, and this is an interesting one. I don't know how many people in chat have seen Ready Player One, but Ubisoft has announced the OWO haptic gaming suit for Assassin's Creed Mirage. The suit will include multiple different sensations, such as impacts and parkour, and will also incorporate some exclusive sensations never felt before. So this is essentially the first real-world version of the tech from Ready Player One, where you could put on a suit and feel what your character feels in the game. Very interesting stuff. Rumor is this is going to be somewhere around $500. But if you want to feel like what it, getting stabbed, you know, feels like, here you go. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to Ready Player One tech. You know, we got all this augmented reality, virtual reality, sensor suits now. It'd be interesting to see how this takes off. And, you know, of course, the first version of a product like this is usually not the best. It's usually the products that will come out later that are, like, so much better. Also, if you haven't seen Ready Player One, it's a fantastic movie. Absolutely love it. But, yeah. Anybody in chat want to feel parkour and getting touched and stuff? Also, the other thing is, you know, somebody is going to hack that thing, and it's going to be available on PC, like, immediately. And people are going to do some crazy stuff with that, so we'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and move on to some trailers. First trailer that we've got here is actually for a new MMO that's coming out. We've seen a couple of trailers for this before, but this is the official beta release trailer. One thing that's really interesting about this is I have seen the interest in this game really spike over the last week. Because it looks like it's actually going to be the next big MMO to come out, but I feel like a lot of people don't know about it. And I think it's actually releasing this fall, but I don't think they have an official 1.0 date yet, because they have a closed beta test coming and then an open beta test coming, and then I think they're going to wait and see what those results are. But yeah, here's the trailer for Palia, if I'm saying it correctly. So here we go. If anybody played WildStar back in the day, you know, art style is a little kind of like WildStar. I don't know anything about classes or anything yet. But yeah, there's a full housing system and crafting and gathering and all that MMO stuff. I was climbing. There's fishing. There's robots. There's all the stuff that you can do with your housing plot. There you go. I definitely want to know more about how the combat works and like are there different classes and all that. I don't think I've seen anything on that. All right, next up, Teenage Mutant Turtle. Wow, let's try that again. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge has a DLC coming out. So let's check it out. This game was great, by the way. I think this was in my top 5 for Game of the Year, what, last year or 2 years ago, whenever it came out? It's like your classic Turtles beat 'em up. It's the Shredder. I don't know who that rabbit guy is. I don't remember there being a rabbit character. All right, next up, this trailer is a little bit different. As you may or may not know, accessibility has become a big thing across the gaming industry, and PlayStation has announced a new controller that will help more people play games. So let's take a look at this new controller. Yeah, it's called the Access Controller. And again, I see this coming to PC, and people are going to be able to do crazy things with it. Yeah, and you can add like other things to it. Yeah. It's interesting on how you can like swap everything on it. To just like customize it however you want to. Xbox also has something similar, but I don't think it's got quite the customization that that one has. All right. Next up, we have got a new game announcement. World premiere, I guess. Here we go.
The monolith has stood tall since the time before written history. Its origin, a mystery. Its power, unrivaled. 1,000 years after a mass extinction ravaged civilization, the world of Gleezer is in peril once again, as dark forces, revenants from a forgotten time, come to claim that power. But hope is not lost. A hero will rise and take arms against the darkness and uncover the secrets of the past to save the future. In the darkness, there is light.
kind of interesting. There must be like different classes or different heroes. Because we're seeing like different kinds of weapons. Spells versus non-spells.
The fate of a world awaits.
Oh, next year. Monolith Requiem of the Ancients. Cool. All right. Next up is a game that I don't know if I've ever shown this game during gaming news and trailers, but I know I've talked about it before. So it's always interesting to me when a new game comes out and it's doing something different. In this case, this game is doing a completely unique art style that I don't think's ever been done before. So the name of the game is called Scarlet Deer Inn, and they're doing an embroidered art style. And they're literally, which I think this video maybe shows it, they're actually like embroidering out all the characters and animations and everything and then like putting it into the game. It's really interesting. Let's take a look. But yeah, this is a new trailer. Sort of a side-scroller adventure game. So obviously the backgrounds are one art style, and then all of the characters are a different art style. Looks really nice, though. A little bit of platforming. Must be torch level at the bottom, or light level at the bottom of the screen. That's cool. I wish it was voice acted. Yeah, very, very cool. All right, 2 trailers left. Next up, we have the release date trailer for Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. So this is a game that we've seen a couple times during Summer Game Fest. And it looks really, really good. And so, yeah, when's it coming out? Here we go.
Life to the living, death to the dead.
Consider our lovers, Antea and Red, the greatest banishers I ever knew. Life to the living, we say, and death to the dead. It is not so simple. Since the dawn of humanity, the dead have lingered. Dead as alive, we are complex and emotional beings. Many and tangled are the ties that bind. Since the beginning of memory, banishers have fought to sever those ties. Death is but a trifle. It comes to us all, to haunt or be haunted. There lies the true horror. I
kind of wish we were getting
Davenport
gameplay instead of
should know
cinematic.
it. The haunting of New Eden scared me to death. I dearly wish I had not begged my friends to come and lift the curse.
That's a good date. Here real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna pull a quick audible here. I'm gonna show you guys a gameplay trailer for that. In case there's anybody who doesn't know what that game is, let me find some actual gameplay. Instead of just a cinematic. Alright, here we go. I found the PlayStation trailer for it. Here we go.
Life to the living, death to the dead.
We are banishers. We end suffering for those who live. We bring closure to those who don't. I want us back, Red. I want revenge on what killed me. I want to live.
As the man says, we face a choice, simple and awful. I banish you. Death to the dead. Do we kill? To be together again.
Or do we part forever?
Come out, wherever you are. Come on, show yourself.
Red.
Every bloody time.
I think that game looks cool. It's just too bad it's coming out this year. Like, if they were to delay it into next year, when there's, like, no games coming out, it could be a Game of the Year contender. But this year, it's just going to get buried. I mean, it's a good date because right now there's, like, nothing coming out in November. So, all right, final trailer of the day. For the past, like, 3 or so gaming news and trailers, we've been keeping an eye on the City Skylines 2 feature highlights, and so we have another one. They're doing like one a week, so this one is Zones and Signature Buildings.
Every decision you make weaves a thread into the fabric of your city. But don't for a second imagine a smooth, seamless surface. Cities don't work like that. Instead, it's an urban patchwork marked by the realities of life and living. You'll create and stitch it together with zoning. Zoning lets you decide where people live and work. You create these residential, commercial, and industrial zones with zoning tools. They work in a couple of different ways. Click and drag over cells on the map to zone large rectangular areas. Zone all adjacent cells with one click. Or get granular, zoning a neighborhood cell by cell. When you establish a city, you choose a map. The map's theme dictates if your city's buildings will have a
I hope there's more
American
maps than
or
that.
European architectural style.
Oh, that's cool.
You can now use zoning tools to mix it up. Go on, sprinkle a little North American flair into your European city, or vice versa. Okay, you know how zoning tools work, but what can you zone? Well, let's start with residential zones. The places and spaces where citizens relax with friends, raise families, and rest their heads night after night. There are now 6 residential zone types. 2 will be familiar: low-density housing, detached houses for single families.
Normally there's only 3.
And high-density housing, tall towers packed with residents. New zoning types include medium-density row housing and medium-density apartment buildings. There's low-rent housing now too. Huge apartment buildings with tiny apartments. Finally, there's mixed housing. Here, residents live in apartments above ground floor shops. Mixed housing adds next-level realism because homes and shops rub elbows like most real-world city centers. Ready to talk business?
That's nice.
You'll create dedicated commercial zones where companies sell the locally produced and imported goods people need and want. Your commercial zones are also where citizens and tourists eat out, catch the latest blockbuster, and dance until dawn. You'll establish industrial zones with factories, workshops, and warehouses where businesses can store goods ready for distribution or export. You'll also develop office zones. Here you'll find small, low-density buildings with only a few businesses in operation. You'll also get the glittering, high-density towers that define your city's silhouette in the sky. Growing your city and zoning go hand in hand. Here's an example. You zone residential areas that boost the population, and with it, the demand for jobs. You respond by creating an industrial zone with factories where people get to work.
Don't put the industrial
Now,
zone in the
these
middle of your
factories
housing. Are
produce
you
goods,
mad?
But they won't stay in business long without somewhere to sell them. You solve that problem by expanding commercial zones. You see? Each zone helps create the momentum you need to
Then the
realize
people are just
going
going
to
to complain all the time because it's all smoky.
And it wouldn't be the city of your dreams without signature buildings. These are unique residential, commercial, industrial, and office buildings that you unlock as your city expands. They're free to build, and you can plop them anywhere. Plop. It's city skylines lingo. Go on, say it.
I did.
What's so special about signature buildings? Well, they function like any zoned building. A home for people, a warehouse for industry, an office for workers. But they can elevate the neighborhood in unique ways. Signature buildings can also bring citywide benefits. Zone and place your signature buildings carefully so each city district flourishes and plays its part in the success of the whole city. Life's rich tapestry has never been richer than in City Skylines 2.
Man, I mean, if you're into city builders, this game's gonna be incredible. I can't wait. This game just looks great. Man, awesome. All right, for those who are watching on YouTube, that's gonna go ahead and do it for this episode of Gaming News and Trailers. Leave a like and comment down below, and we will see you in the next one.